Hi, this is Bob Kramer. Welcome to Kramer's Garage. So today's project is I'm putting a new clutch in a GL 1100 motor. This is from a 1980 Honda GL 1100 motorcycle. So there's several things I want to point out about this. First of all, you notice these are the clutch plates. One of them is double. Okay, see that one's a double. So when you assemble this, make sure you put the double one in the middle. There's 6 single ones, so it'll be 3 on each side of the double. Now you'll also notice about these plates, if you feel it, there's a rounded edge and then there's a sharp edge. These are obviously stamped on a press. And so you want to make sure that they're all in there the same direction. I'm going to put the sharp edge facing the motor on all plates. Okay, I don't think it matters which direction they face, but they all should be the same. Okay, and then the next thing is on the clutch discs, there's 2 different discs. 7 of them are identical, they're like this. Now, if you look closely at these discs, you'll see that one of them is definitely different. It's the dimension here is thinner this way. The inside diameter is larger, and more importantly, the tab on the outer part, this, if I can get my finger in the right place, this tab is larger on the last disc. Okay, now I'm going to show you why. Okay, you'll notice that the first 7 discs will slide into the outer basket. This is the outer clutch basket. This is the inner one. Okay, so the first 7 discs will slide all the way in. Okay, that's these. The last one will not. The last one will only go in that far, and it comes up against a stop right here. So the reason that it does that is because when these wear too thin and they get below the service limit, the clutch will start to slip because the springs are pushing on this outer disc, and when it hits the stop, they can no longer push it in and can no longer compress the clutch. So therefore, when these discs wear below the service limit, the clutch will start to slip and the motorcycle will no longer go down the road. So you will know that it's time for a new clutch. If you don't have this disc in place and you make all of them match like this, you won't have that stop feature. Okay, so now when your clutch wears out below the service limit, the springs will continue to compress and engage the clutch, and you won't know that it's worn out as long as you still have adjustment left on the adjusters on the cable. So you could, in theory, be running your clutch with metal on metal after the discs are completely worn out. So I bought a new clutch, a new set of clutch plates. This clutch was left compressed for several years, and I just didn't. The discs measure within the service limit. I measured all the discs. They're all within the service limit. So I could, in theory, reuse this clutch. But I just thought, since I have the engine all the way torn down, I want to put nice new fresh clutch discs in it. So I bought a set from Saber Cycles. Incidentally, Diane at Saber Cycles is awesome in customer service, and I've had pretty good luck with almost all of their products. I've been buying from them for several years. But anyway, so I bought their set of Barracuda clutch plates. And here's the new plates. All right, there is one little discrepancy. They sent me all 8 the same, so I don't have a new one for that last one on the outer end of the clutch basket. They're all going to be the same. So that said, it's not really, you know, the end of the world or anything. I'm just going to use 7 of the new ones, and then I'm going to reuse the one original so that I still have that stop wear feature on the end of the clutch there. Okay. So, time to start assembling. All right, we start with the clutch center. This is the one oddball disc. That's the one with the larger tabs that has to go on first. Okay, I'm installing all the plates with the sharp edge facing the engine. Incidentally, this is the damper plate, so you have 3 clutch plates and then the damper plate, and then 3 more clutch plates. Okay, all the plates and discs are in place, so now the next chore here is to line up all the tabs on the discs and get them lined up as close as possible right now. Alright, then we take the pressure plate. Oh, there's a little bit of goop on my pressure plate. Let me clean that off real quick. Okay. It's all in place now. So then you need to take the lifter plate back out. Just have the lifter plate in temporarily to hold the assembly together for installation. Take that back out. Then we have a lock washer. It's a little bit different style of lock washer, and this is incidentally marked. It says outside right here, so you have to make sure you install that with that side of the washer facing out. And then you have the nut with notches in it. It's not really a castle nut. Somebody leave me a comment below and tell me what you call this style of nut. I'm not sure what to call it. All right, now, many of you aren't going to have the special tools required for this. You need a socket that looks like that. All right, now, I didn't have the special tools when I first started doing this either, so I made them. This one is made from a 24mm socket, and I took it on a grinder and ground it out to fit this nut. So, as you can see, fits right on there. All right, now that's important because you have to tighten this to 44 foot-pounds. So you're going to have trouble tightening it to 44 foot-pounds if you don't have something that will fit. So it's very difficult to hold the shaft here, the transmission shaft, from spinning when you're trying to torque the nut in the center of the clutch. So here's a little trick for you. You can take 2 of your clutch springs, put them in place. Honda does make a special tool for this. I, however, don't have that special tool. If you have the special tool, obviously you're going to not need to do this. However, I don't have it. So what I do is I use 2 fender washers and then 2 of the original clutch bolts, lifter plate bolts, and I tighten these down and compress the springs. And what that does is it locks up the clutch. Then you can, if your gear shift lever is in place, you can shift the transmission into first gear. Then you can put a bar in the flywheel, which is on the alternator shaft. Put a bar in the flywheel, and then once you've done all that, you can torque the now I've got my bar wheel resting on a wooden shelf over here. Okay, now I have to torque this to 44 foot-pounds, and I have to get my wrench in there the right way. I'm not confident that I'm getting torque on that because the motor's rocking as I push the torque wrench, so I'm going to find a helper to hold the motor steady while I put the torque on it.
How about this? Can I get this off?
Okay, we have Alicia holding the motor so it doesn't move, hopefully. You're not preventing it from moving. Okay, there.
Turned it off right away.
We've got adequate torque on that now.
Okay, I'm done. Am I done?
Okay, that center nut is torqued now. Yeah, it required an extra person. Now, obviously, if the engine was still in the motorcycle, of course, you wouldn't have a problem with the engine moving. And the problem you would then have is holding the shaft from turning, which you can do by taking an access plug out of the back cover, and you can put a 17mm socket in here, or a 12mm socket in here to hold the alternator shaft. Okay, and that'll prevent the transmission shaft from turning while you torque this up. Okay, now we have to pay attention here to where the screws are that are or the holes that are counterbored for the longer screw. Take the fender washers away. My counterbore holes are here and here. Okay, and then we'll put the springs in. Now, of course, I've measured these springs and made sure they're still within the service limit, and they are. Springs. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the 2 longer bolts, and they're going to go into the 2 holes that have the counterbore. outer bore. And you have to keep that lifter plate going down straight. So best to do this by hand a few turns at a time. I could spin these down with the driver, the electric driver, but I'm more comfortable bringing them down gradually by hand. Try to keep the lifter plate somewhat straight going in. So, I use a 1/4-inch drive torque wrench for this and set it at 12 Newton meters. Newton meters. Okay. There it is, 12. That one. That one. That one. Putting a little oil in the bearing. Wow, you learn something new. Every time you work on one of these, you learn something new. I've never taken the bearing out before to tighten the center nut, but look at what we have here. I might have been able to skip the step with the fender washers and simply put the lifter plate in place, and my socket fits right in there, and the clutch is now locked up. I could torque that. Now, okay, but it's already torqued with the help of an assistant. And I'm going to put the bearing back in. Now, the bearing has markings on it. I don't believe it makes a difference on this bearing which way it goes in, but I always put it in with the markings facing the same way they were when I took it out, which was they were facing out. Huh. All right, this is the clutch operator rod. So when the engine's all assembled, when you pull the clutch lever, it's going to push this rod to disengage the clutch. Hopefully that will. All right. I hope that was helpful for you to see how we assemble that clutch. This is about the fourth time I've put one of these particular clutches together. So anyway, all motorcycle clutches follow a similar theme, or at least all wet clutches. This is a wet clutch, so the clutch is running in an oil bath, and which means that the clutch plates don't really wear out very quickly at all. They'll last a long, long time. My other Goldwing over there has 112,000 miles on it, and it still has the original clutch in it. So anyway, I hope this was informative. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And also, if you have any comments, please comment and tell me what you think. If there's a better way to do any of this, please let me know so I can improve my skills in the future. And also, if there's any topic related to a vintage Goldwing, 1000, 1100, or 1200, I've worked on those three most. So if you have any questions regarding those bikes, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer the question and or make a video about it if that's feasible and appropriate. So go ahead and push that subscribe button. Give me some love. Thanks for watching.